All right, good morning. The court will take up the next case on the court's docket. This is cause number C200129CPS in the interest of Felicity Ellen Herrera, a child. The case is set for a bench trial today. Trial is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. The department is participating in the hearing today through caseworker Stormy Mims and managing attorney Amy Lurs. The mother of the child is Rosalinda Herrera, who is deceased. The father of the child is John Joseph Salas, also known as Jay Salas. We'll take judicial notice of the court's file to the extent it reflects that Mr. Salas was personally served with citation and notice of suit on October 8, 2020. I don't believe he is currently in the virtual courtroom. The court will further take judicial notice of the court's file to the extent it reflects that a adversary hearing was held on September 28, 2020, and a status hearing was held on November 3rd, 2020, at which time Mr. Salas participated in those hearings. The court advised Mr. Salas of his right to retain counsel and his right to request court-appointed counsel on those occasions. The court would take judicial notice of the court's file to the extent it reflects that Mr. Salas does not file with the court any request for a court-appointed attorney, no attorney purporting to represent him as in an appearance in the case on his behalf. The court will further note that on both of those dates, the court gave Mr. Salas notice that this case was set for trial on today's date at this time, and would further take notice of the court file to the extent it reflects that the Zoom video conference link for today's trial was mailed to Mr. Salas on July 23rd, 2021. Mr. Salas has not appeared for the trial. The attorney ad litem for the child is Jeff Beatty, and Mr. Beatty is participating in the hearing. The CASA guardian ad litem representatives for the child are Maureen Sapezi and April Wilson, both of whom are participating in the hearing today. Cindy Gonzalez is the paternal aunt and the current caregiver for the child, and she is participating in the hearing. And Felicity Herrera, who's the child the subject of the suit, is also participating in the hearing today. I also show on my screen under the designation Shanice Lewis. Ms. Lewis, could you advise your connection, the court, your connection with the case, please? If you could unmute your device.
I'm the permanency worker here in San Antonio, where Felicity resides.
Okay, what top take the services to? Okay, good. Thank you. All right. I think with that, as I noted, the case is set for a bench trial today. Ms. Lurs, is the department ready to proceed at this time?
Ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Beatty, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is anybody invoking the rule?
No, Your Honor.
The rule is not invoked. Any opening from the department, Ms. Lurs?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the department will be asking to be dismissed at the conclusion of this hearing to name Ms. Gonzalez as the sole managing conservator, to find that it is in the best interest of the child that Mr. Salas not be named a possessory conservator nor provided visitation, but be ordered to pay child support and medical support.
Right, thank you. And Mr. Beatty, any opening position from you?
Support the department, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, if we're ready to proceed, I'm going to ask Ms. Mims, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Sapezi, and Felicity, and I guess also Ms. Lewis. I'm going to have each of you sworn in as potential witnesses in the case. If each of you could raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
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 Thank you. All right, if we're ready then, Ms. Lurs, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We will call Stormy Mims to the stand.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Ms. Mims, are you the caseworker with the Department of Family and Protective Services assigned to work with Felicity Herrera?
Yes, I am.
And I see Felicity Herrera is in court today, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And is her date of birth September 11th, 2004?
Yes, it is.
And where is she currently residing?
She currently lives in San Antonio, Texas.
And who is she residing with?
Cindy Gonzalez.
And is Ms. Gonzalez also present in court today?
Yes, yes.
Can you tell the court how it is working out for Ms. Herrera there with Ms. Gonzalez?
Felicity is doing very well in her placement. She's been there since October of last year. And she's doing very well. She's doing good in school. I can't say too much good about it. I mean, she's done wonderful there.
And I'm sorry, I need to step back a minute just for the record. Is Felicity's mother deceased?
Yes, Rosalinda Herrera has been deceased or is deceased. Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez, did she have a prior relationship with Felicity to the department becoming involved?
Yes, she did.
And is she able to meet Felicity's needs?
Yes.
I think at one point, Ms. Herrera was in counseling and had other services being offered.
Yes.
Is she still accessing those services, or has she moved past that for now?
She is still in counseling. I believe we have changed that from twice a week to, twice a month to once a month. And she's in the PALS program still.
Is the department asking that Ms. Gonzalez be named sole managing conservator at the conclusion of this hearing?
Yes.
Does Felicity want that as well?
Yes.
Would she like to see the department and all the other items dismissed out of her life at the conclusion?
Yes.
And how will Ms. Gonzalez be able to continue accessing services for Ms. Herrera?
I will still be a support for her if she has any questions, but she also will be able to continue her counseling and the PALS program. So we can still be a support for her if she needs that.
And I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this. Is Ms. Gonzalez going to be getting any benefits or anything, financial assistance to help with Ms. Herrera?
No, she has actually chose not to receive any kinship benefits. They can take care of her without those.
Okay. Now, Mr. Salas, prior to her involvement, had he been involved in Felicity's life?
No.
And I stated to the court earlier, the department would like to see him named as a parent non-possessory of this child. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In other words, we're asking the court to acknowledge that he is the father of this child as he has an imparted order, but not to give him any rights to access or to make decisions for this child.
Correct.
Can you tell the court why the department believes that is in Ms. Herrera's best interest?
Well, due to the recent events, I feel like John is toxic to her healing process. Felicity's been through a lot in her short time of life, and the relationship is just not beneficial to her success. John has a history of drug abuse, drug use, and also physical abuse. He has, in the beginning, he said he would do whatever it took to get his daughter back, but he has failed to comply with any of the department's requests for any drug screens, services. He doesn't show up to court. He just doesn't respond to us at all.
Has he had any visits with Ms. Herrera during the pendency of this case?
He has had two. One was initiated by myself, which is when he signed the family plan. The other one was in December. So that was in September, October. The next one was in December when Miss Lewis was coordinating that, and he hasn't seen her since.
And for the record, were those both in the year of 2020?
Yes, they were.
And has Ms. Herrera expressed a desire on whether or not she would like to see Mr. Salas?
Yes, she does not want to see him. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She has stated to me that she wanted that part of her life to be over.
Do you know of any reason why Mr. Salas is not able to be employed?
No.
Has he indicated to you that he is employed?
Yes, he works for the city of San Antonio as a groundskeeper.
Has he ever provided any proof of how much he makes?
No, he has not provided proof, but I have called him at his work.
So you know that he's at least making minimum wage at his current employment?
Yes.
Are you asking the court to order that he pay child support to Ms. Gonzalez in the amount of $224 a month beginning September 1st of 2021?
Yes.
Are you also asking that he pay Ms. Gonzalez $50 cash medical support
Yes.
also to begin September the 1st?
Yes.
Can you tell the court why you believe all of the requested relief is in the child's best interest?
Well, like I said before, I just feel like his relationship with Felicity is just toxic, and she's come so far in her healing process that I feel like that just backsteps it.
Can Ms. Gonzalez meet all the needs of this child?
Yes.
Has Mr. Salas shown any ability to meet the needs of this child?
Has Ms. Gonzalez, I'm sorry, repeat that.
Has Mr. Salas shown that he can meet the needs of this child?
He hasn't shown much of anything.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Mr. Beatty, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Thank you. And Ms. Lewis, did you have any other witness you want to call?
Your Honor, we call the COSTA volunteer Ms. Wilson.
All right, Ms. Wilson, you were previously sworn in and you remain under oath. Go ahead, Ms. Lewis.
Ms. Wilson, have you had an opportunity to do your own independent investigation into what COSTA believes is in the best interest of this child? I'm sorry, I could not hear you, Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Okay. Judge, could you hear her?
I could. It was rather low, but I could hear it.
Ms. Wilson, can you tell the court whether or not you believe it would be in the best interest of this child to name Ms. Gonzalez as the sole managing conservator of the child?
Yes.
Do you
I believe it is in the best interest for her to stay with Miss Gonzalez.
And you heard Ms. Mims testify that the department is seeking that Mr. Salas not have any rights to this child, but have an obligation to support the child.
Yes.
Are you also in agreement with that?
Yes.
Can you tell the court why you believe this would be, why COSTA believes this would be in the department's, the child's best interest?
The child is great where she's at. She's performing well in school. She's made it clear she does not want any contact with her father, and CASA feels that it would just not be a good relationship for her to have as well.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Beatty. Any questions?
No questions, Judge.
And thank you. And Ms. Lewis, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, the department has no further witnesses. Ms. Lewis was present in case Mr. Betty had any questions about services in San Antonio or anything like that. So the department would rest.
Thank you. Mr. Beatty, do you have any witness you want to call?
Your Honor, I think Ms. Herrera can speak for herself. I'd like to call Felicity Herrera.
All right. Felicity, you've been previously sworn in, so you remain under oath. If you could unmute your device so we can hear you, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Buddy.
Thank you, Judge. Can you state your name for the court, Ms. Herrera?
I'm sorry,
Can you state your name for the court, please?
Felicity Herrera.
And are you the person we've been talking about?
Yes,
And do you live with Ms. Gonzalez?
yes,
And is that going well?
yes, it's going very well.
Does she have rules?
Yes,
Do you like them all?
every parent has. Yes,
Do you think you're going to be able to do well there?
yes,
Are you going to go to college after you get done with high school?
yes, that
What are
is
you
my
gonna study?
plan.
Pardon me?
Law enforcement.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything you want to tell the judge?
No,
Okay. That's the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Lurs, any questions for Felicity?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Beatty, any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Judge. Obviously, I'm very happy with where she's placed and would tell the court that we'd like to support the department's request.
All right, thank you. All right, then I'm assuming all parties are arrested and closed. All right, thank you. Y'all just stand by for just a minute. All right, the court presents to Chapter 201 of the Texas Family Code and other applicable law. Having heard the evidence presented at trial and having taken judicial notice of the court's file to the extent permitted by law and as otherwise noted in the record, and having heard the recommendations of the attorney ad litem and the CASA guardian ad litem for the child and also the child's own desires, the court is going to make the following findings and enter the following orders. The court finds that a request for identification in the court of continuing jurisdiction has been made as required by law, and no other court has continuing exclusive jurisdiction of the child, and this court has jurisdiction over this action. The court finds that all parties entitled to notice have been notified. The court finds that that Rosalinda Herrera, the mother of the child, is deceased. The court finds that respondent Father Joseph Salas, also known as J. Salas, has been confirmed and adjudicated to be the father of the child during the pendency of this case, pursuant to an order affirming parent-child relationship entered by the court on November 22nd, 2020. The court finds that any presumption that the respondent father should be appointed as the managing conservator of the child is rebutted, and the court finds that the appointment of the respondent father as a managing conservator of the child would not be in the best interest of the child because such appointment would significantly impair the child's physical health and emotional development. The court further finds that any presumption that the respondent father should be appointed as a possessory conservator of the child and any presumption that the respondent father should have rights of possession and access to the child pursuant to the standard possession order is rebutted. The court finds that the appointment of the respondent father as a possessory conservator of the child would not be in the best interest of the child because such appointment would endanger the child's physical and emotional welfare. The court finds the application of the standard possession order to the facts and circumstances of this case is unworkable and inappropriate, and that the denial of rights of possession and access to the child by the respondent father does not exceed those restrictions necessary to protect the best interest of the child. The court further finds good cause not to order specific periods of possession and access to the child by the respondent father. The court finds that the appointment of Cindy Gonzalez as the sole managing conservator of the child with the exclusive right to establish the residence of the child without geographic restriction, with all the other rights and duties of a non-parent sole managing conservator under applicable law, is in the best interest of the child. The court finds that dismissing the department as temporary managing conservator of the child is in the best interest of the child. The court finds that the respondent father has an obligation to support the child and that he should be ordered to pay child support and cash medical to the sole managing conservator for the support of the child. The court finds that in connection with ordering support to be paid by the respondent father, no evidence of any other minor children of the respondent father not before the court was presented, and that the court should order support to be paid by the respondent father based on the minimum wage guidelines for a parent with no other minor children to support. The court finds that the court should enter an order relating to the provision of health and dental care for the child. The court will therefore enter the following orders. The department is dismissed as temporary managing conservator of the child, and Cindy Gonzalez is appointed as sole managing conservator of the child with the exclusive right to establish the residence of the child without geographic restriction, with all the other rights and duties of a non-parent sole managing conservator under applicable law. The respondent father, John Joseph Salas, also known as J. Salas, is adjudicated as the father of the child, but he is not appointed as a possessory of the conservator of the child, and he shall have no rights of possession and access to the child. The respondent father is ordered to pay child support to the sole managing conservator for the support of the child in the amount of $224 per month and cash medical support of $50 per month, with those payments to commence on September 1st, 2021 and continuing on the first day of each month thereafter until terminated pursuant to applicable law. The child support and cash medical support is to be paid through the Texas Child Support Disbursement Unit. Cindy Gonzalez is ordered to arrange for health and dental insurance or other health and dental care for the child from available government benefit programs, and the respondent father is ordered to pay 100% of any medical, dental, or other health care expenses of the child not paid by health insurance or government benefit program. The court will discharge with the court's thanks Mr. Beatty and Casa from their appointments 31 days after entry by the court of a final order reflecting the findings and orders announced today. The court gives notice to the parties in counsel of the right to appeal the court's findings and orders pursuant to Section 263.405 Texas Family Code, and of the right to request a de novo hearing for the referring district court pursuant to Section 201.015 Texas Family Code. The court gives notice that an appeal in suit which termination of the parent-child relationship is sought is governed by the procedure for accelerated appeals in civil cases under the Texas Rules of Appellate Procedure, and that a failure to follow the Texas Rules of Appellate Procedure for accelerated appeals may result in a dismissal of the appeal. Ms. Lurs, I would ask the department to prepare and submit to the court for entry a final order reflecting the findings and orders announced today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gonzalez, thank you for everything you've been doing for Felicity while this case is going on. I appreciate that. And Felicity, I wish you a long and happy life. If you're going to college, keep in mind that one of the things that is a positive out of this whole experience is there's some financial benefits that can help you pay for tuition fees, and there's also some stipends that can also help pay for college. So make sure you know what those are and take advantage of those if you decide to go to college or even to a trade school. Okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll be adjourned for today. Thank you.